Hello, I'm Simon. Welcome to my workshop, and in this video I'm going to find out if a complete novice like myself can sharpen their own tools. Let's get tinkering. I inherited these tools a few years back but haven't really done anything with them. I have two number 4 planes and a number 5 plane. These two are Stanley and this is a Marples. And I have these chisels which are all Marples. I'm not sure what that is. And then a couple of spoke shaves that aren't branded, and then these two old oil stones. I've tried using these oil stones in the past to sharpen the chisels but haven't had a lot of success. I can get them reasonably sharp but I can't get them very sharp. These oil stones, I've no idea what grits they are. They're very messy to use and I'm not even sure that they have a particularly flat face on them. So I've decided to get rid of the oil stones and move to a new system which I've bought from Axminster tools, which I'll show you. I bought this diamond cutting set from Axminster tools. It's their Rider diamond cutting set. I'm not sponsored by them, bought it with my own money because I thought that this was probably the best value for money kit that I could find. It comprises of a double-sided diamond grinding stone in a rubber stand, and then it also comprises of a board which has been CNC routed by the looks of things to provide all the angles for cutting chisels and planes. This goes in here like that. It comprises a block of leather, and this should be a soap bar. Yeah, it's a bar of soap. I also bought the Rider honing guide. This is it's a cheap honing guide from Axminster, because I think this will be an important part for a novice in terms of getting sharp tools. So I'm going to go and read or watch the videos that Axminster have produced on how to use this, and then we'll come back and start using it on some of these tools and we'll see how we get on. So I'm going to start with this small chisel, and you can see that the manual sharpening I've done in the past is a bit of a mess. The chisel's got lots of facets on the surface, it's not square across the top, and it's got little chips in it. So this is basically a very poor example of a chisel. I'm going to see if I can get it to being a useful tool. So I'm using this honing guide. The chisel goes in like this, and this screws up. I think I've done that the wrong way round. I think the chisel goes in that way. I am doing this for the first time. So yeah, the chisel goes in that way. Now this here, it says chisels, 25 degrees, primary bevel, 400 grit. So it's trying to help you at every stage. So I'm going to pull this to the edge of the table. The reason I've pulled this is to the edge is just so that I can push this chisel up against this area here, so I know that it's the correct height or correct distance. So that should now be set at 25 degrees when I'm on here. Now, let me just readjust the camera. Now, I haven't got any honing liquid, I forgot to buy some, but I have read that you can use Windoline, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm not recommending Windoline, I'm just trying it because I don't have the honing fluid. So let's pop a little bit of that on there. And now I'm going to roll this backwards and forwards. So that we can see how bad this chisel is, I've covered the top with a Sharpie, or black Sharpie, so we'll be able to see where it's cutting. Probably see here. It's not even got to the edge yet, but we're starting to get the right angle on it, so that's really good, and it's coming off really quickly actually, a lot quicker than I expected. So you might be wondering why, if I don't use these tools, am I spending the time and money sharpening them? Well, there are two reasons really. The first is perhaps obvious. Because I haven't been able to get a really sharp edge on the tools, they don't perform very well, so I've been less inclined to use them. The second is that during the COVID pandemic, my youngest son started making guitars. He is a keen musician and, like me, loves making things. So with no after-school music practice and extra time on his hands, he decided to make guitars in the workshop, and he's been using all these tools on a regular basis. So it felt like it was time he experienced how well these tools perform when they are properly sharpened. I think it's there at the edges yet, at the corners. I'm just going to mark this, just to make it easier for me to see. This reprofiling to a 25-degree angle took quite a bit of time, and would prove to take ages on the larger chisels. I've since found out that more experienced woodworkers reprofile damaged chisels using 120 grit sandpaper on a flat block. So I might try this as a first step next time I have some abused chisels. Still not quite there, but it's almost there. There's quite a large burr on the back, just a little bit in the corner. Okay, that looks done to me. So now I need to change it to the secondary bevel and the 1000 grit. So I wipe the sharpening stone with an old towel and turn it over to the 1000 grit side. You can probably see now how that has changed the bevel at the end. The little black line is just the remains of the Sharpie ink. I place the back of the chisel onto the 1000 grit diamond stone and draw the chisel backwards a few times to remove the burr. Then, using the soap polish which came with the kit, I charged the lever ready for my first ever stropping. There seems to be lots of techniques for stropping, with the amount of pressure and the number of strops varying quite a bit. I decided to use the technique demonstrated by Axminster tools in their video, as I've not done this before. With time I'll probably develop my own way of doing this. The black deposits are still being polished off the tip of the chisel, suggesting that what I'm doing is either sharpening or possibly dulling the blade. It's pretty sharp. You probably can't see just how good that is, but it's perfectly square and it is incredibly sharp. So for my first ever sharpening of a chisel, I'm really pleased with that. Really pleased with it. Well, I would say that this is a real success. My dad's 50-year-old chisels are now really sharp enough even to shave with. This is one of the spoke shave blades. It's in quite a shoddy condition. I've started to flatten it off to remove the corrosion and stuff. So I shall finish that. I can't actually fit it in the honing guide because it's not long enough in this direction. So it'll have to be profiled by hand, which I'm not really looking forward to. So this isn't anything like as sharp as the chisels, so I think I'm going to have to make some sort of guide so that I can get the angle right and keep it right. You can see this is curved, doesn't really have those set angles to them. I think that then my inexperience is rounding over the tips occasionally. You can probably just see it there, look, slightly rounded over. So I'll need a jig basically to be able to sharpen these. They're too small for the honing guide that I've got. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I've learned that sharpening tools isn't as much of a black art as I thought it was, and actually the magic ingredient is the honing guide, and with that I've been able to produce exceptionally sharp tools. The one thing I still need to investigate is how I get the equivalent of a honing guide for my spoke shave blades. Once I've worked that out or designed something myself, then I'll be able to sharpen those. Because as you saw, I really wasn't able to get a very sharp edge on those just by hand. Now I know lots of people can do this by hand, and it was always done by hand in days gone by, but that clearly requires a lot more experience than I have. But for a novice, having a honing guide and having a sharpening system really does mean that you can keep your tools extremely sharp. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Well, thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, then simply click my logo. It's free and YouTube will feed you my videos occasionally. See you in my next video.